Hi, this is Chick Shane Mosley, and you're watching True School Sports.
All right.
Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to talk about a heavyweight that I don't really talk about as much as I should. And I think a lot of people kind of forget about this guy because he's not like an all-action heavyweight fighter. He's not like a big knockout puncher. He's not someone we hear about unless he's fighting because he doesn't talk a lot in the media. But this guy might just be one of the most dangerous heavyweights in the world. I can't say if he's one of the most ducked and avoided heavyweight fighters in the world, but I don't hear nobody calling him out. I don't hear nobody saying, hey, I want to fight this guy. That guy comes in the form of Cuba's very own Frank Sanchez. Yes, sir, Frank Sanchez. Now, Frank Sanchez is back in action October 15th. He'll be fighting on the Deontay Wilder-Robert Helenius undercard as he takes on none other than former Puerto Rican Olympian Carlos Negron, 25-3 Carlos Negron. Now, I gotta be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it just a spade. I like Carlos Negron. He trains right up the road here in Miami at the Caicedo Sports Training Center. He's a guy that I've seen spar. He's a nice guy. Him and my dad have had a good conversation at one time at the gym. When my dad went, there was one time where he was sparring and a lot of people were sparring at the gym. And there's a Walmart next to the gym, and my dad just went and bought a whole cooler full of Gatorades and just gave it to everybody in the gym, and then everybody loved my dad for that. But anyway, Negron is was a good amateur, obviously Puerto Rican Olympian, but in the pros he just hasn't been able to cut it. Can pass punching power, can knock you out if you're not careful, but for the most part, a guy that's relatively slow, and all three of his losses have been by knockout, like all of them. He got knocked out by Dominic Brazil. He got knocked out by Brian Howard. He's been knocked out by another fighter in this country named Elfanio Mendoza. That was in the 3 rounds. So most times, more than not only does he get knocked out, he gets knocked out relatively early. So I think this could be good for Frank Sanchez because, this is a fight that was supposed to happen on New Year's Day this year, but it didn't happen. So Frank Sanchez wound up fighting. Who did he fight? I think who did Frank Sanchez fight? I can't remember who he fought right now. My memory just gave me. Frank Sanchez fought Christian Hammer, right? And he went the full 10, and it wasn't like a great performance, but he dropped Hammer around 10. Hammer is a really crafty veteran, knows how to survive. But this is a fight where I feel like Frank Sanchez could actually create some buzz for himself. He can get a knockout. He can get people excited about him because I truthfully feel like people always talk about BT. You always gas up your boy Filip Hrgović. Who do you think could actually beat Filip Hrgović? Because you always say the guys that can't beat Filip Hrgović. Who could beat Filip Hrgović? Well, pencil this guy in there. Frank Sanchez is one of the guys that I feel like if he ever got that fight with Hrgović, I'd give him a good chance to win. And not just against him, but against pretty much most heavyweights. There's a lot of talk right now on PBC about like Deontay Wilder if he beats Helenius fighting Andy Ruiz. And for good reason, because this is prize fighting, so money always comes first. And that is a big money fight for PBC. But I'm going to tell you this. In the event that Andy Ruiz can't fight Wilder next, but then Wilder can still fight, there is no other matchup that I want to see more than Frank Sanchez. I feel like Frank Sanchez should be a guy that we talk about getting fights against the likes of Andy Ruiz, against the likes of Deontay Wilder. Now, he won't get it from the media, and he won't get it from PBC because he's not like a money-making heavyweight. He's not like the most aesthetically pleasing fighter for the casual fan, but he is one of the best heavyweights in the world. He's one of the top guys out there, and people have started talking about him. I mean, you've seen it. You've seen it when Efe Ajagba signed a Top Rank and was knocking a lot of people out, and a lot of people who didn't believe in him started to believe in him, like myself a little bit. We started to believe that Efe Ajagba might be something in boxing. Once he stepped up to Frank Sanchez, we saw that, we saw his level. We saw that he was on that next tier of heavyweights. So my thing is, when we talk about, the heavyweights within PBC and in the heavyweight division, I really feel like this is a guy we should talk about because this is a guy with great amateur pedigree. This is a guy who knows how to box, move, counterpunch. This is a guy with respectable punching power. This is a guy that knows how to fight a good, consistent, fight with and stay within himself, and going to be a really hard guy for a lot of guys to beat a heavyweight. I think whoever at heavyweight in the next like year to 2 years, whoever at heavyweight could actually fight Frank Sanchez and beat him, they're gonna get a lot of credit from me, because truthfully speaking, I just don't think he's a guy that a lot of guys at heavyweight can beat. You know, hard to hit cleanly, hard to establish your pace and tempo against him. Also, he's got decent timing and can counter you. So there's a lot of attributes to like when it comes to Frank Sanchez. And I'm looking very forward to seeing him back in the ring. And I'm hoping that he can deliver what I expect to be a statement performance against Carlos Negron, because Carlos Negron, like I said, good amateur pedigree, decent club fighter, hasn't cut it in the pros so far. And his biggest issue has been that chin. So I'm looking at if Frank Sanchez. I'm gonna tell you this right now: if Frank Sanchez goes anything more than 6 rounds of Carlos Negron, I'm gonna be extremely disappointed with him, and I'm gonna have a lot to say. So I'm expecting a big performance, because I want him to put himself in a position to where people can start saying, okay, I want to see Frank Sanchez against Joe Joyce. I want to see Frank Sanchez against Wilder. I want to see Frank Sanchez against Andy Ruiz. I want to see Frank Sanchez against Joseph Parker. I want to see Frank Sanchez against Philip Hergovich and these kind of guys. You know, I really feel like we should be talking about Frank Sanchez more, and we're not, because he's not an English-speaking heavyweight. He's not a big knockout artist, but I don't know too many guys that I would confidently pick to beat him, and that's just the reality. To me, he's like the guy that can really fuck up and crush. Like, a lot of guys are going to be on the ladder of success, and he's just going to freaking step on the dreams and crush on the dreams on the way there. And there's just there's no two ways about it. So if you want to know, I'm gonna tell any heavyweight this. I don't care if it's Hergovich, Joyce, whomever is not a champion yet, that's on the way up trying to establish himself as an elite guy. If you want to see how elite you are, step up and take the test on us, Frank Sanchez, and you may find out that you ain't going to pass that test. It's gonna be like me when I was in the 9th grade taking algebra tests. Failing, you know. So yeah. Anyway, that's my little thoughts on Frank Sanchez. He's taking on Carlos Negron on the Wilder undercard. Very excited to see him back in the ring, and hopefully he makes a statement and can get people excited about him, because I feel like he has a guy in Negron who has the attributes to allow him to do that. You know, not just fight the regular, consistent, you know, UD performance he likes to fight. So yeah, leave a comments down below. What do you guys think? And what do you guys see Frank Sanchez in the heavyweight division? And who are some heavyweights you guys think he could beat? Name me the heavyweights you guys think Frank Sanchez could beat right now in the comments down below. You know, subscribe, all that good stuff. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you guys can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.
Just like Mayweather's uncles would say, a lot of people don't know shit about boxing. You know, you do. You've done it.
Thank you.
You about the only smart guy that I know, bro. Nobody knows shit about boxing.
I appreciate it, man.
I want to say, man, make sure to follow True School Sports, always covering boxing at the highest level, man, and make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Follow him on Instagram at Just a Kid from Dania as well.
He the plug.